way, way before the Aztecs ever built their famous capital. Another city, a truly massive city, dominated ancient Mexico. It was so grand, so mind-bogglingly huge, that when the Aztecs found its ruins centuries after it had been abandoned, they gave it the name Teotihuacan. It means the place where the gods were created. I mean, they figured it must have been built by giants, or the gods themselves. And for centuries, its real story has been one of history's biggest puzzles. But now, well, new discoveries are finally starting to pull back that curtain.
Okay, let's just dive right in. What you're looking at here isn't just some fancy map. This is a 3D laser scan of a place that no human being had set foot in for over 1,500 years. Back in 2003, archaeologists stumbled upon this tunnel deep underneath the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, and it was sealed shut on purpose. This scan is really our first look into a lost world, a time capsule that just might hold the keys to how this whole city began. And that discovery really brings us right to the heart of it all, the big question we're going to tackle. What other secrets are still waiting for us, buried deep beneath the pyramids and avenues of this incredible place? Let's follow the clues and see if we can piece together a totally new picture of this ancient metropolis.
See, here's the thing. Unlike the Maya or the Aztecs, the people of Teotihuacan didn't leave behind any royal tombs that we can point to and say, aha, that's the king. They didn't leave any written histories we can read, or any clear reason for why their city just collapsed. For centuries, these have been the questions keeping historians up at night. But now, without those usual clues, modern archaeology is finding answers in some really unexpected places.
And it all starts right there, with that incredible tunnel. Turns out, it wasn't just a passageway. Archaeologists are pretty sure it was a symbolic journey, a man-made path into the underworld, a sacred space that was sealed up for centuries right at the city's ritual core. So let's go inside.
Just try to imagine the sheer effort involved here. This tunnel stretches for over 100 meters. That's longer than a football field, in a perfectly straight line, and it ends directly under the very center of the Temple of the Feathered Serpent. This is a totally artificial cave, painstakingly carved out of solid bedrock. For the people who built this, it wasn't just architecture. It was a constructed cosmos, a path they built to the sacred underworld, where they believed creation itself began. And get this, before they sealed it forever, they packed it with offerings. We're talking more than 60,000 of them. The scene was just incredible. You had these beautiful greenstone figures and even a jaguar skeleton, both symbols of immense power. But they also found some really strange things, like thousands of these mysterious rubber spheres, and at the very end of the tunnel, shimmering pools of liquid mercury. The thinking is that it was meant to represent the sacred lakes of the underworld itself. Just, wow. And we know when this all happened thanks to radiocarbon dating. The tunnel itself was built right at the dawn of the city, sometime between 81 and 100. It was in use for over a century before they ritually sealed it shut around 80 to 30. Now, think about that for a second. This sacred passage to the underworld was already ancient history by the time the massive pyramid we see today was being built right on top of it. So what this discovery really gives us is an authentic, totally unaltered snapshot of the city's foundational beliefs. It's a direct window into their cosmic worldview and the kind of massive, state-sponsored rituals that helped launch Teotihuacan into a Mesoamerican superpower. Okay, so that gives us a pretty amazing picture of the city's spiritual heart. But what about the people? You know, the thousands of folks who actually lived there day to day. Did all that grandeur and power extend to the lives of ordinary citizens? Well, to find out, we have to leave the pyramids behind and head out to the city's suburbs, where another huge surprise was waiting. All right, we're headed to a neighborhood called Tlajinga. It's located way out on the southern edge of the city, more than 2 kilometers from the famous Avenue of the Dead. For years, the assumption was that this was just your typical, non-elite neighborhood. You know, a simple suburb for the city's workers and farmers. So the expectation was that archaeologists would dig down and find simple adobe houses, right? The kind of basic homes you'd expect for commoners. But what they actually uncovered was stunningly different. We're talking large, elaborate stone apartment complexes built up on elevated platforms and decorated with vibrant, incredibly sophisticated murals. I mean, just look at what they found. These are not some crude decorations on a wall. These are fragments of incredibly detailed murals, vivid paintings of birds, flowers, and complex cosmic symbols like feathered eyes. This is the kind of high-end art you'd expect to find in a palace downtown, not in some supposed working-class neighborhood way out on the fringes. But the surprises didn't stop with the art.
When scientists analyzed the chemical residues left on the floors, the results were definitive. They found almost no traces of fats or proteins, the stuff you'd find from daily cooking. Instead, they found compounds consistent with ash from burning incense. That told them these weren't family kitchens, they were shared, public spaces used for community rituals.
So when you put it all together, the picture is just crystal clear. People living in Tlajinga had a remarkably high quality of life. They were getting luxury goods from hundreds of miles away, like precious spondyla shells from the Pacific Ocean. They had these beautiful, shared public spaces. All of this points to what researchers now call muted social inequality. Basically, a city where wealth and well-being were spread out way more evenly than anyone had ever guessed. But the story of Teotihuacan doesn't just end when the city collapses around 550 AD. Not at all. Its physical power might have vanished, but its influence, well, that transformed into something else entirely. A powerful myth that would shape the great empires that came after. This quote from some later historical sources really nails it. By the time the Mexica, who you probably know better as the Aztecs, rose to power, Teotihuacan had been abandoned for centuries. When they stumbled upon its silent, enormous ruins, they just couldn't believe that normal humans could have built such a place. It had to be the work of the gods. And the Aztecs didn't just admire Teotihuacan from a distance. No way. They actively went there and excavated the ruins. They collected ancient masks and pottery, and they treated them like sacred relics. They even brought back its ancient art style, as you can see in this carving found right in the Aztec capital. It was a very deliberate move to connect themselves to this powerful, glorious past. So, for the Aztecs, Teotihuacan was way more than just an archaeological site. It was a place of pilgrimage, a source of political legitimacy, and a core part of their own origin story. You could say the ghost of this great city loomed large over the entire Aztec world. So, when we put all these different pieces together, the journey into the underworld, the vibrant life out in the burbs, and this enduring legacy among the Aztecs, a new, much more complex picture of Teotihuacan really starts to take shape. Essentially, what we've done here is look through three completely different windows into this lost world. We've peered deep into its cosmic beliefs through that sealed tunnel. We've seen the surprisingly sophisticated way its people lived, even on the outskirts. And we've understood its lasting power as a foundational myth for the mighty Aztecs who came later. Together, these discoveries paint a picture of a city that wasn't just powerful, but also incredibly well organized, with a high standard of living and a deep spiritual core that echoed for 1,000 years. And yet, it really seems like every new answer we find only uncovers deeper, more fascinating questions. This city is still giving up its secrets. From sealed tunnels to buried murals, the puzzle of Teotihuacan is nowhere near finished. And that, of course, leaves us with the most exciting question of all. What are they going to find next?